on a baseline with that tremendous driving ability. And then there's Stephon Marbury. He's the 3D man. Look at him drive, draw, dish the rock. And then he shows his ability to get to the goal. Super strong. I'll tell you one thing. Both guys can put on some big numbers early in the season, and they're going to put bigger numbers as the year progresses, but they have a little help as well.
Bobby Crimmins and John Thompson want to make that perfectly.
A lot of wins in his career since taking over that program when it was really at the depths of despair. You talk about graduating players. Guys stayed there 4 years. 72 of 74 have graduated.
Georgia Tech in gold. Georgetown in gray. Off the tap, Jerome Williams. He goes on the wing for Victor Page. Dick, the pace of this game should be fascinating.
Yeah, it really should be. And a lot will be dictated by who gets the early lead.
Iverson for Harrington. Point guard works it around. Penetration. And the basket for Jerome Williams.
Jerome Williams is one of your unsung heroes. I like to talk about guys that don't get a lot of recognition, and he is a key part of this basketball team. He is not a third or fourth option.
That heartbreak for Stephon Marbury.
Georgetown with a tenacious defensive team this year because they possess that one quality, quickness.
That's Barry from Maddox. And Michael Maddox, the sophomore out of Atlanta, has the equalizer.
That's a big play right there. He has to give him some presence down at the low post. Last year, he was a drifter. He was a perimeter player, Maddox.
On the turnover as he went racing down to the baseline. By the way, the hardest working guys tonight might be the ACC officiating crew. Ted Valentine, Bob Donato, Frank Scagliotta trying to keep up with this one tonight.
The one thing right there with Boubacar Al, the game plan for Georgia Tech is to play off him to try and give help on the inside. What is the turnover?
Marbury lost it. Iverson has it, and he scores over Barry.
I'll tell you, what explosiveness. I watched that step to the basket. He's got that great acceleration, Allen Iverson. Led at Bethel High School his junior year, led him to the state championship in football and basketball. Was a great rollout quarterback.
Hoyas by 2.
Oh, nice look.
That was Barry down to Maddox. Loose ball. Marbury had a shot, and he threw it into traffic.
Yeah, he tried to make the spectacular pass. The one thing that's impressed me about Stephon Marbury doing his first 2 games, he has played under control. There's the rotation defensively on Maddox. Williams comes rotating over. He is such a solid player, both defensively and as a rebounder.
There is Victor Page, the freshman out of McKinley Tech in D.C.
Averaged about 33 points a game when he played in high school 2 years ago. Was player of the year in Washington, D.C. He adds a special dimension to this team. He gives Iverson another guy that can finalize.
Marbury. And he dumps it over the baseline, but it was touched by Hoya on the way.
As Big John standing up on that sideline, I was teasing John. I said, Marbury told me he wanted to go to Georgetown. You didn't call him up. He said, why did he call me up?
Hey, you got to call up Georgetown to get in. They had almost 13,000 applicants for the class of '98 this year.
Oh, nice look by Barry. There he is breaking the defense down, and Maddox shows his inside-outside ability. Don't underestimate the passing ability of Barry.
Michael Maddox with 5. Drew Barry, over 500 assists in his career. That's Iverson handling the ball.
I think one of the real requisites against Georgetown, you must force them to play a 5-on-5 game. You cannot allow them score off their defense into offense in terms of transition, or they'll blitz you like they did in their first 2 games. You have to be able to control the basketball and make them play 5 against 5.
Foul was on Eddie Elisma. Hartbury had a touch on the rebound, and it'll go back.
See, shot selection. That was an area that Iverson had to work on from last year. I thought that last year he should have pulled up and utilized the medium-range jumper as opposed to thinking so much of the 3-point long-range jumper.
2 minutes and 45 seconds in. Georgetown leads 6-5. Maddox has had a hot hand. They go to him again, and he almost went 3 for 3. Very Harrington, the rebound.
He's very active on the inside.
Here comes Victor Page. He is so fast. 2 Hoyas follow. Bumped out of there. Williams in the corner for Iverson. Rebound Marbury, and Page fouled him in the air.
Shooting the ball a little too quickly right now. Georgetown in their half-court game, they got to get a few feels on the inside to old fella Harrington, who had a big game in their first game. By the way, Harrington and also Iverson played together on the World University's games team, got to know each other even a little bit better, and it really helped both guys because last year, especially early, they were a little bit out of sync with each other.
Marbury played with Jahidi White of Georgetown at the World Junior Championships in Greece for under-19s. 5 Georgetown players involved in international play in the last year.
And that certainly is going to help your game, going to give you a little maturity.
Here's Berry kicking it for Maddox, and we had a foul in the paint. It appears to be on Jerome Williams. Santa Clara with a 1-point advantage in Maui over Michigan State at the half. They've been a big story in that tournament, knocking off UCLA earlier.
To show you what Iverson did this summer, he led the team in scoring, steals, and assists, and that included a team with Kerry Kittles, Ray Allen, and Tim Duncan.
Berry dishes, lots of traffic. Somehow Harpring caught it, couldn't make the shot, but he was fouled.
Harpring's one of the great stories in basketball. Was not heavily recruited, was not a blue-chip superstar coming out of high school, yet he stepped into the Georgia Tech lineup last year and became such a solid player. And this year he's even elevated his game more. He's put on some weight. He's a lot stronger. Marbury
had 16 points and 5 assists when Georgia Tech beat Manhattan. That was their first-round game in the NIT. A 20-point verdict, and Matt Harpring really came up big with a double-double. And then at home they defeated the Sooners despite 26 points and 11 rebounds by Ryan Miner.
Hey, I'll tell you, they beat a good Oklahoma team and a very good Manhattan basketball team. And I really believe that this Georgia Tech team, no matter what happens here today, is going to be a better basketball team than last year. They seem to enjoy playing with each other a lot more. Even though they lost 40 points between Best and Forest, I believe they'll be a better team. Here goes to a half-court trap.
Georgia Tech by 1. That's Owinji losing it. Here's Harpring on the transition.
And Harpring off the pass for Marbury, but created by the steal. Bobby Clemens does a little dance on the sideline. Marbury's an excellent defensive player, especially on the basketball.
Georgia Tech on a 7-0 run to take a 9-6 lead. Here's Page with the left-hander. Elisma over the top. They're going to call Michael Maddox over the top, trying to crash the glass.
I like Frank Scagliotta. He says, yes, you. And he says it with authority and with conviction.
Michael Maddox with a foul. Georgia Tech hanging with the pace of the Hoyas so far. We are off to the races at the Garden.
But let them get a little timing. They'll play together, and you'll see John Chaney's team get better and better as the season progresses.
That's Joseph Tuomu, who just checked in, a freshman out of Williamston, North Carolina, and he knocks down the 3 right off the bench.
He's from Cameroon. There is Tuomo.
Great shooting, something Georgetown has not had much of in recent years.
He gives him some quickness. He gets a little bump right there on Stephon Marbury, who tries to attack the defense by beating Tuomo.
Joseph Tuomo did not play his senior year in high school because of a knee problem. Playing at the highest level now with Georgetown. There's Iverson watching as Marbury.
Georgetown comes out of the man-to-man, goes to a 2-3 zone. Should have some wing jump shots there. You swing the ball.
Marbury quick.
Oh, what a nice look.
Harper. Elisma pawing away at it. Damon Jackson came up with a loose ball for Georgetown.
Marbury with the great eyes did an excellent job defensively to stop the ball from running up the floor. And that's the one thing you want to do in defensive transition, stop the basketball.
Godwin Owinji on the left wing for Jerome Williams. Left baseline. Running out of room is Damon Jackson. Managed to get the whistle.
Jackson, a slasher, quick player. They got some diaper dandies that are going to step in and help right away when you talk Page, Jackson, and Tuomo.
Big Heidi White, 6'9", 270 out of Cardinal Ritter in St. Louis, a sophomore.
John Thompson told me on the phone, he said, you know, I really treated him. It was a sweetheart season last year for Jahidi. This year, he's going to see the real tiger in me as I come at him. We need his presence inside to go to that next level, to be way up on top with the big guys.
Yeah, but he put it on the floor and coughed it up. He played only 8 minutes a game last year.
Came out of a great high school program. In fact, this high school program, Lauren Woods, a 7'1" player, signed with Wake Forest, and Chris Carrawell, a 6'6", from the same high school in St. Louis. Cardinal Ritter signed as well with Duke.
Age 4, Iverson, who checks back in, matched up with Marbury.
See, Marbury, a good defensive player. They're going to set a screen and try and get Iverson free.
Releases it for Owinji. That was Jahidi White with a touch, but he couldn't corral it.
Owinji had the wide open jump at the elbow. Had a little two-man play. There's a look at Jahidi, big, strong player.
There's the score from our first game tonight. Arizona's in the championship game. Great catch by Hartbrink. Owinji tried to stay with him, and Godwin will get his first foul.
Hartbrink showed some of his football abilities. He was a star at Marist High School on a football field as well.
Well, how about his dad? Played middle linebacker for Bo at Michigan. His Uncle Jack played at Navy. His granddad played at Navy. A couple of brothers playing Division I football. He should know how to catch those long passes.
There's the big catch. There's the hands. And now he tries to seal off the defense and draws the contact. Got a brother playing at Northwestern.
Yeah, that is Brian, and John plays at Akron for Jerry Faust.
No, Jerry Faust's not there anymore.
Oh, used to be.
Yeah, I guess he recruited him.
Yep.
He's Hartbrink with that good touch. I really like the Georgia Tech team much better than last year because they get more ball movement.
Hey, Dick, I got to ask you, with Harrington coming in, where has he been offensively? They haven't thrown in the ball.
Yeah, he's got to get some touches inside. They got to take advantage of his offensive ability and get him involved, especially if Georgia Tech stops the running game.
Page straight ahead. Jahidi White. There he is.
They need that out of him. Jahidi White has got good post presence inside, and they got to get him involved offensively as well.
He did not score a point against Temple. Marbury, little bounce pass for Maddox. Got the foul, couldn't knock it down.
Marbury really making some good looks. They haven't been able to convert, but he's also got to be able to look and think a little bit about a shot. Look at Barry got hurt. Barry hurt his ankle. Barry's hopping off the court. This can be big. They can't afford to lose Drew Barry. His leadership ability, his talent as well, his experience.
This is his team, says Bobby Cremens, and his top assistant, Kevin Cantwell, who also hails from New York City. Painful expression on the face of Drew Barry, the senior. His teammate at the other end, Michael Maddox at the line. Georgia Tech only plays about 7 guys. Juan Gaston, a freshman out of Decatur, Georgia, has checked in.
He's really been impressive in the first 2 games. He was a tremendous football player. Ran a 4.40. In fact, George O'Leary told me I'd love to have him on a football team at Georgia Tech. As you take a look, they're working on that ankle.
Already had it taped. Maddox fails to hit either. Gaston had the rebound. There's no foul, but because of his hustle, Georgia Tech will get it back.
And with Barry on the sideline now with that injury, it puts even more pressure now on the diaper dandy Marbury to really have to step up and have a solid game. Doesn't have somebody to bail him out.
Georgetown's Iverson tough on the inbounds play. Drew Barry's expression looks rather serious.
What a basketball family, brother playing now with the Clippers, Brent and John playing with the Golden State Warriors, and Scooter playing overseas.
Page intercepts, still going along.
Oh yes, what great hop. He's got the tremendous hop. He's like McKinley Mountain. He played at McKinley Tech. He gets way, way up on that mountaintop.
Hoyas, as they always do, turn defense into offense and lead by 3. We are 6.5 minutes in.
Look at Iverson. He was the player of the year, as you said, defensively in the Big East last year. Not a bad title for a kid that was a freshman.
That is unbelievable in a league like that.
And didn't play basketball the year before.
Maddox up high. Goes by Jahidi White, who swats away at him. Then he outlets over the head of Iverson. In the backcourt, Marbury will intercept.
You know, Iverson really has been exonerated from all those problems. It's finally been all clean. He's got a clean record. As we all know, that was documented. He went to prison there for a time, Georgetown.
Page with the deflection, but it went right back to Gary Saunders, who checked in for Georgia Tech. He's their 7th man.
He's from out of New York City as well. He's a slasher.
Out of Brother Rice High School.
Hey, he went to Rice High School, played with Felipe Lopez at Rice, the St. John's phenom.
So he's used to being in the background with Marbury getting all the attention at the moment. Lots of fouls in this game. 17 fouls now against the Hoyas. So the Yellow Jackets go into the bonus, and Barry is going back for treatment or worse.
There's Page right there. Looks like he catches an elbow. They get him for contact.
Gary Saunders, a bit of a jumper from the line. He couldn't get it to go. Here comes Iverson.
Look at that speed from one end of the floor to the other. Oh, great move. He just goes the length of the court, coast to coast, explodes to the basket. His quickness is reminiscent to me back in 1976, a guard from Chicago playing from Michigan by the name of Ricky Green.
Rebound Harrington.
Right now, you got to get Harrington involved a little bit. He rebounds there. Now you got to give him a touch. As a little guard, you got to say, I got to take care of the big fella. I got to keep him happy.
There's a steal. Marbury takes it away.
Marbury strips him.
They don't have numbers, 2 on 3, but he did draw the foul. He had Harrington and Boubacar Aou chasing it.
Marbury has scoring ability, and he's going to have to step up and think a little bit more of score right now with Barry out of the lineup. Oh, Barry's getting ready to come in.
How about that? From the locker room to the court in record time, he comes limping back in. Drew Barry not on the board yet, but he's on the court, and that's what's important for Bobby Cremins.
He was second in the ACC in terms of guards as a rebounder. He's a complete player.
Marbury at the line, following in a great tradition of Georgia Tech point guards. Travis Best most recently, Kenny Anderson before that, all the way back to Mark Price.
Point guard university, I guess you can label the Ramblin' Wreck of Georgia Tech.
PGU. Tech, after missing 5 free throws in a row, finally Marbury gets one to drop.
See, Tuomo now handling the basketball, frees Iverson to be like a second guard. He's one of those combo guards. They got him now to where he doesn't have the pressure of handling the basketball and bringing it up the court.
Boy, Barry is limping all over the place, really favoring that ankle. Baseline underneath, Jerome Williams.
No one rotates over. He's one of my favorite players. He doesn't get a lot of ink, doesn't get a lot of PR. See, Barry is slow getting to the basketball, really favoring that ankle.
If I'm Tech, I got to have Barry throwing it in, not trying to catch it. Hoyas by 6.
Almost defenders, and nobody stopped the basketball. Georgetown scrapping into a 2-2-1 press. Through the diagonal pass right over the trap.
That was Barry for Harper. And he goes down and steps on the baseline. The Hoyas will have it back. 5 turnovers now. That's 47 turnovers in 2+ games forced by the Georgetown defense.
Well, Georgetown defensively is going to create havoc on a lot of clubs this year. This club really has great potential defensively.
Hard work by Juan Gaston there, but Iverson got it back. Jahidi White. And Georgetown lucky to get it back momentarily.
And there's my guy, Jerome Williams. I mean, he's hustling. He wants to sell popcorn. He wants to do it all. He's got that Washington look with the high socks. Jerome, a real Windex man, a class eater. There he is. Look at this hustle. Look at that leap. I mean, he's ready for the long jump. He says, bring out Michael Powell. Bring out Powell.
He had the Georgia Tech managers just about dying down there at the end of the bench. Checks out. Yaya Ja has checked in for Georgetown. A junior out of...
Oh, what a nice look right there. Give the assist created by Mr. Marbury. Great eyes, great feel. He anticipates well.
Maddox the finish, and he has 7. Iverson short with the long one. There's Ya. And he gets it out on top to Tuomo.
Ya's a leader. He's a complimentary player.
And a 3 for Jerome Williams. 7 for your favorite Hoya.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. When he starts knocking down threes, you can have a long night. night if you're Georgia Tech. He's not a long-range shooter.
Georgetown by 7. Marbury distributes and gets it back from Gaston. Now they switch it for Berry. Thought about the behind-the-back pass. And Strong on the rebound and the break. Williams. Iverson. And an offensive foul.
Barry did a great job stepping in on Iverson. Won him up in the air. Barry hurt that ankle, but does the little things to help a club. Here he is right now. Shows his experience. He anticipates Iverson. Iverson leaves his feet. He's right there on. Great job by Barry to take that charge.
And remember, Georgia Tech only plays 7 people. That lack of depth against a team like Georgetown that goes 9 or 10 deep and plays that pace could be telling in the second half.
They have never been a club under Bobby Crevens to utilize a bench. Right now, there's the zone. You got to get into the seams and gaps of the zone.
Berry for Gaston, and that's a big 3 for him coming off the bench.
I'll tell you, he's been a positive player. He's got great athletic ability as well as excellent touch.
Iverson. Too much traffic.
A little bit out of control against the 5-man defense.
Marbury. Oh, look at him.
What a great charge. Oh, hello, New York. I'm home, baby. New York, New York. I'm home in a big city. Little 20-second timeout by John Thompson. Doesn't want this place to start rocking. Doesn't want it to become the Stefan show. He's magical. He's magnificent. He's marvelous. Oh, Digger, you got to like this guy, Digger. Look at that change of direction. Mike T jumps out of his seat. He says, yes. Look at the strength. Look at the upper body strength for the little guy. And here's the conversion. Of new players. Owinji out of junior college is going to be a good player, a rebounder, a defensive player.
That was Victor Page on the drive, and the Hoyas will have it back.
Victor Page is a prolific scorer. He really has a nose for the basket and knows how to score. You don't score 33 points a game in Washington, D.C. and not be able to score.
Intercept. Jerome Williams. Marbury got in front of him, and Jerome Williams commits his first foul.
I love to.
Marbury at the line.
Got to get a little bit more knee flexion on that free throw.
Tech is only 4 out of 10 from the line so far.
Yeah, that hurts you when you're looking at a 2-point game and you're shooting 40% on the line. That's trouble city.
Stephon Marbury with 4. It's back to a 1-point game with 9:10 before halftime. Iverson with a big step.
Oh, what a great step to the basket. Owen cuts off his driving angle. You want to just put it down and get back on defense, Mr. Maddox. Don't need any show, don't need any fouls, don't need any unsportsmanlike conduct. I'll get hit with a tee.
He was pumped after that one. Here's Iverson from Williams.
Nice look.
Baseline, Owinji.
Owinji gets the deuce, but Allen Iverson created the opportunity.
We are watching some athletes on this floor right now. Very short, ball climbs out of bounds. It'll be interesting with Barry's shot to see how much jumping he can get off the floor with that ankle for his jumper.
Yeah, he's really favoring that ankle. Bobby's going to have to go in and out with him, get him off the court a little bit, get him back on. Only thing is, you don't want that thing to tighten up by sitting on that sideline a long time. I'm not a doctor and an expert in those areas at all. I've had a tough enough time trying to analyze a basketball game.
A lot to analyze in this one. Hoyas by 3, 8:20 before halftime. That's Owinji on the wing. Finally, Harrington has the ball. Dishes off for Page. Well off. 2 Hoyas with it. Harpring took it away from Owinji. Barry has to wait, and he cannot score.
See, there's an example where the ankle really hurt him in that sequence.
He just didn't have the confidence to go up strong.
He didn't have the confidence to run after the basketball like he normally does.
Owinji out of control. No call. It'll go back to Georgia Tech.
See, I think you hurt your club more than you help your club. Classic. See Kansas against Utah. Roy Williams has got a dynamite team. Also, we'll see Memphis and Purdue. Purdue going for a 3rd straight Big Ten title.
Hartbreak trapped in the corner. Double dribble.
That was great defensive pressure right there by Georgetown. Really rotating. I mean, John's got something special. The last great team they had is '89. That's the year John Thompson's club lost that unbelievable heartbreaker to Duke for the final game to go to the Final Four. There's the trap. That's a no man's land. Once you get into that area there, you're in major trouble.
But in 12.5 minutes, Tech has only turned it over 6 times.
Oh, what a nice look. Look at that pass. Marbury to Hartbreak. I mean, it's an excellent look. I mean, we're watching a diaper dandy. A kid has played 3 college games.
Look at Iverson answer. That's 8 for him.
He says, Marbury, anything you can do, I can do better.
He's got 8. Marbury has 6. They each have a couple of assists and a couple of turnovers.
And they're both great players, both great talents. You talk about point guards. I think, number one, today, if I'm coaching in college, I want to get me a great point guard. Look at that play right there. Oh, take a look, America. I mean, look at that shaking and baking their head on press row. I mean, Larry Donald, Mike Wilbon, Dickie Weiss, all the pressers shaking their head. Little shake and bake, New York City style.
Guessed in the finish. It was goaltending. That's why we heard a whistle and there were no free throws. But the ball then went in anyway.
Some guys are born with the rock in their hands, and Marbury is one of them. He is a legitimate creator and innovator and a solid point guard, and I just love him as a personality. I really do. I got a great story to tell you about in the elevator with him today.
Ball touch, and then it hit the baseline from the hands of Owinji.
I was telling you the story. I'm in the elevator, and there I am looking at Bobby Cremins. And in the elevator is Matt Hartbring, and there's Stephon Marbury and a few other players. And he said to me, he said, Coach, I'm taking all my boys to the hood. I'm taking them down to the hood. And when I walked off, it was so beautiful to see. Here's this African-American kid from the streets of New York talking to a teammate, Matt Hartbring, who's from suburban, out in Marietta, Georgia. And you could just see the love they had for one another because of the jersey they represent. Who talks about racial problems right there? You talk about people playing for the purpose and playing for the school they represent.
Well said, Dick, and the round ball brings them together. It's the uniform that does it, as does the gray of Georgetown. Barry is back. Marbury will take a seat. Barry, nice look. Saunders in the key. Maddox lost it as the Hoyas swarm once more. 6:19 before halftime. It's Georgetown leading 26-25.
Iverson right now, look at him backing Saunders right up to the foul line area.
Couldn't climb that one over the iron. Hoyas will keep it.
Thinking that through, Bobby Winston.
Othello Harrington short. Page on the back door.
Just the score. Always going to come up with the deuce somehow, whether it be a transition, open jump shot, offensive rebound. At the end of the night, he'll have big numbers.
Hoyas press always because of their depth. They love the pace. But Barry takes care of it against Tuomu in the backcourt.
Tuomu really works on a defensive end. He's a DBT man. Drive, feed, and turnover.
Saunders has a 3. Iverson left his man to try to get a steal, and Saunders was open.
Gary Saunders is a player that Howard Garfinkel, who stopped by a little bit earlier, a 5-star fame, really is very high on. Said he had him at the camp. He's just a solid all-around player.
Page, that's a 3. That's 9 for him, and the Hoyas retake the lead.
King Victor doesn't waste any time, coming back with 3. Then he's putting some defensive pressure right on Barry. Barry says, I got a bad ankle. Take it easy on me.
Maddox, he can do it inside, and he's got the 3. And Michael Maddox has 12 already.
He's always been able to do it from the perimeter. He's added the interior to his game.
He deflected the pass of Page intended for Harrington. Othello will go down low and post up again.
Well, at least on the inside, they were really concerned about trying to handle Othello, but they're going to get a little help because they're not getting the ball inside to Othello.
And the 3s are being traded now like commodities down on Wall Street.
I'll tell you what,
one after the other.
A lot of the Wall Street execs stopped in here after doing all their work down here on the Wall Street.
There are a lot of suits watching this game at the Garden tonight. Iverson has 11, by the way. Hartbreak through traffic. Tough rebound, Jerome Williams.
And he does a great job of dribbling the ball out after rebounding. Good handling. He lays a screen out there for Iverson.
He got his man skying. That was Tuomo. Had Alizma off the floor. That 3 a little bit short. Good box out by Matt Hartbreak. Here's Barry.
He's got Maddox.
He already has 6 assists. Cannot score. That's Maddox with the putback.
I'll tell you, Mike Maddox is growing up. He is becoming a much more complete player. He's taking his game and elevating. He's stepping it up. He's getting better and better with each performance.
He has more tonight than he had in all of his first 2 games. Harrington.
He said, hey, nobody's going to get me to run. I'm just going to go up and get it. From out of Mississippi, played at Mura High School.
In Jackson.
Outstanding high school program.
He's actually down 15 pounds from last year. Othella checked in at a svelte 235 for John Thompson for his senior year.
Did a great job against Donald Foyle, the great player from out of Colgate. Had him to a deuce with a little help from his friends.
Yellow Jackets down by 3, 3:10 before halftime.
Fairness to Donald, he didn't have the helping pass that Mr. Harrington has.
Shot clock at 2. Alizma throws it away. 4 assists for Stefan, the freshman. Iverson, the defensive player of the year in the Big East last year with a couple of takeaways, although Stefan has matched him in that department. They've both given us, Dick, flashes of brilliance in this first 17 minutes.
Well, Iverson's an outstanding lead guard. He's got that great scoring ability. And also Marbury can score, but he's thinking pass a little bit more, where Allen is thinking a little bit more shot.
Victor Page took some contact from Gary Saunders.
You know, last time these 2 teams, I mean, we're talking some big-time players in that era.
You don't think of these 2 teams together, these 2 schools. This is a series that goes back to 1921. Rico and Digger are in the studio, and they've got the Delta Faucet halftime report coming up. And how about UCLA? What a story that is.
Yeah, 1 and 2 out of the gate. I think, you know, when you look right now, they're going to just certainly have to regroup mentally, but don't forget the fact they got to regroup as a team as well. They lost 3 players who had a total of 45 points and 17 rebounds and a lot of experience in Edney, O'Bannon, and certainly Zeta.
Warriors by 5, 2.5 to go. Drew Barry has not scored. He's playing hurt.
He really is playing hurt. He's not playing. He can barely now lift it back in defensive transition. Look at a high rise, the Skywalker, the little guy, Allen Iverson. What a team they had that won the gold medal in Japan with Kittles and Allen and Tim Duncan and Lorenzen Wright. I can't wait to see Wright this week. Ray Allen told me, he said he's probably the best big man I've played with. He said, I love Lorenzen Wright.
Iverson has 13 now. Marbury, nobody open, took the 3 and missed. And Victor Page will run with it. Marbury snuffs it out and gets the INT.
Now he's got to create the opportunity by attacking.
Right past Iverson.
I'll go right to the basket. Very strong upper body. I tell you, they have not disappointed anyone, Marbury and Iverson.
There's Barry with the steal.
Get it to Marbury.
3 on 2. He does.
Get it to Marbury. Oh, he doesn't finalize.
Got the foul, though.
And he was playing really with one leg, and you're not going to help the team, help yourself.
7 in the first half for Stefan Marbury.
Bloody effort by Barry. I wouldn't expect anything else being a Barry. I mean, you talk about a family that prides itself. And hey, the mom, let me tell you, we always talk about the dad, but the mom, she came from a great basketball background. Her dad was an outstanding coach. Coach Hale, coached at the University of Miami, coached in the ABA.
Yellow Jackets hanging around. Hoyas by 3. Left baseline, it won't go for Victor Page. Harpring tried to go off to the races, but he forgot the rock. And here's Iverson.
And they didn't forget the rock. They know where to get it. You know, Harrington's not scoring, but he's got 7 rebounds. So he's keeping very active in other ways.
Look at the hustle of Page. They contest every pass.
They really come after you. Deny, overplay.
Iverson. They got it off the inbounds play. Page is taking a seat. I'll spread the floor a little bit here in the last minute.
I like Tuomo. I really believe he's going to help this club as a third guard coming off the bench. He and Jackson didn't play their senior year because of a knee injury.
Marbury gets his second foul as he grabbed Allen Iverson, who has scored 15 points in the first half.
You know, a lot of people talking about in all the articles, will Marbury leave? What about Iverson leaving? No Georgetown player under John Thompson has left early, and he never sits down and talks to them about it. He told me, I never talked, as he watched the move by Williams on the interior, he said, I never talked to Alonzo Mourning and Ewing about possibly leaving early or Mutombo. He said, heck, my all-unsung hero team from Purdue, Mark Hendrickson from Washington State, he would fit that category as well. Rashad Allen from down at Tulane is another guy I would throw up on that club. I'd throw on Daron Scheffer as well, from out of Connecticut.
Victor Page back in. Rebound and a strong one by Jerome Williams.
Every rebound he goes after is...
How can you lose Jahidi?
I don't know. How could you forget? How could you not find that big wide body?
6'9", 270. Somebody had to see him.
See, that's a breakdown. Young players, and that's maybe right there the loss of a Barry. You would take charge in that situation, so you got to be aware. You got to be the team leader. You got to step up if you're Marbury and say, hey, we got a guy behind us.
Hoyas by 8. Out on top, Marbury in traffic. And a turnover. Georgetown has a chance for a double-digit lead.
You talk about tenacious and really tenacity. Georgetown just doesn't relent. They're relentless. They just keep coming after you, after you, and after you.
Iverson has to gun it up. They will settle for an 8-point lead at the half.
Just solid defense by Georgetown, and really the presence and the scoring of Allen Iverson was so explosive.
Well, Mike Tirico, Arizona earlier in the nightcap. Georgetown has turned on the pressure cooker here in New York.
Yeah, Bob, well played game in your mind.
I tell you, Arizona's experience versus Michigan's youth. Great game, but a little different ending.
Michigan's youth showing itself in terms of athleticism here. They were down early, but Maceo Baston, one block. Then he'll reject Miles Simon. Travis Conlon starts the break. Baston did the defensive work, the offensive payback for Steve Fisher's team. 8 freshmen and sophomores on this team, and Lewis Bullock, one of the youngsters. The steal and the dunk, he had 22. Michigan down most of the way within 3, 71-68. But the Wildcats start to pull away. Albert White misses the 3. Then Miles Simon to Dickerson for the jam. Zona by 8, but Michigan scored the next 6. They were close. Then what happened, Digger?
Watch the experience factor. Ben Davis, they go to him inside. He reads the defense, feeds it to Dickerson, who sees Joseph Blair underneath for the slam dunk. And that's why experience is important.
Michigan came out with a double when they were doing a good job in half-court defense, and Arizona comes away with a 7-point win. The team that won the 1990 preseason NIT moves on to the finals. Now some other tournaments going on ESPN.
And points in the paint. Georgetown with the big edge.
Hey, Dick, I just asked Drew Barry how he feels. He shook his head no. He said, I just can't get loose. It's really bothered me. But he's starting and still playing hurt for Georgia Tech.
Yeah, he's lame right now. He's limping. There's no question.
Barry running the offense. Maybe Barry can make a shot or two outside. Oh, Dad would be proud of that one.
Well, he was able to square his body, get the good look. But look at him limping right now. I mean, he is really favoring his ankle.
He did have 6 assists in the first half. There's the putback, and guess who? Iverson.
Iverson with the tip on the inside. That's got to be a nightmare if you're Bobby Cremins and a little guy can step in and make that tip. Oh, there's the foul. No contact. They said no contact. Marbury can't believe it. Come on, give me a break.
And then Jerome Williams walking with the ball after they came up with it. You know, both teams shot pretty well. Georgia Tech 13 of 25 in the first half, 52%, but that was 12 less attempts than Georgetown had. They were 20 of 37, 54%.
Well, you talk about rebounding. It starts with Jerome Williams. I grabbed the fine columnist in the Washington Post, Michael Wilpon. I said, get the kid some ink. He deserves ink.
Here's Page. Here's Iverson.
Very
Here's
selfish.
Page.
Little two-man game. Iverson says, I got to take care of Victor because he'll take care of me.
Largest lead now, 9 points, just over a minute into the second half.
Georgetown really hurt you big time with the steal. Off the missed shot and the steal, they just are so explosive from the defensive end to the offensive end.
Berry finds Marbury circling around. Rebound Maddox. It won't go for him after the big first half he had. Harrington knocks down Harpering and play continues.
O'Dulla's done an excellent job rebounding here tonight.
A running rebound for Eddie Elizma. His first rebound of the night. He has not scored a point.
Yeah, he's not really an offensive player, but they need some defensive presence from him and also some rebounding.
Very short. Got his own. He'll try again. And he's got 5.
So he starts scoring some points. That ankle starts to get a little better. That adrenaline starts flowing. It's like playing on a pavement. You don't want to leave. You play winners. You want to stay out there.
There's Ja. Nice dump down.
O'Della, the big O says, I'm going to put a little O in the book. A little offense.
That's his second field goal of the night. Back to 9 it goes for the Hoyas. Marbury trying to make too much happen, and Iverson stuffed him.
Yeah, he calls the jump ball, alternate possession.
They will get it back, but that play will do a little psychological damage, maybe.
No, it goes over to Georgetown in basketball.
Okay, they had the arrow going the other way. Now they fixed it.
And deservedly so. I'd like to say, I said this last year, that was a great defensive play. Iverson head-to-head with all the experiences. Come on, Mr. Marbury. This is not high school. This is the big leagues now, and I got a year's experience. I'm going to show you why I was player of the year defensively in the Big East.
Iverson, Jackets chasing him everywhere. And finally a foul.
He's starting to dominate. He really is starting to dominate the game.
That will be number 3 on Bobby Cremens Jr., Eddie Elizma. And again, we update the backcourt matchup.
Well, you see the 16 points, 3 assists, 2 steals. Iverson's an outstanding player on the defensive end, as we documented with his award, the Player of the Year defensively in the Big East. I mean, that's an amazing accomplishment for a freshman. Stefan looking at the score, so I don't like that. This is my home territory. I'm home here.
Hey, when's the last time he ever looked at a scoreboard in New York City and saw his team behind?
I know. He's played here 3 times. Played here in high school twice.
Iverson with 19.
Sensational. Here comes Georgetown with Williams at the point of the press, using those long arms, bother the passing lane.
Harpering for Maddox. Bounce pass through. And as Elizma made his move for the basket, the ball was behind him.
See, the one thing Georgetown does, they keep coming after you with pressure. You beat the first wave. Look, Bobby Cremens says, hey, what's happening, guys? Come on, settle down. This is New York. I'm from New York. Got my family here.
There's Page from Iverson. Victor has 15.
And he scored a lot. The 2 of them are going to put a lot of points on the board, Iverson and Page.
Berry looks like he's moving okay now. Out the way!
Nice change of direction.
7 for Drew, all since halftime, in 3 minutes and 10 seconds.
I would imagine it's hurting when he's coming down on that ankle after going up and scoring. Iverson against Barry, wants a stripper. Barry's playing off, so I'll let you shoot the long-range jumper.
Nice switch off on the baseline. Ball taken away from Williams. And Marbury loses it because of Page's pressure.
See, what I would do right now with Marbury, he's really struggling. I would take him out for about 30 seconds, sit him down, and bring him right back on the floor. You mentioned earlier, it's been a tough time for Bobby Cremens at Georgia Tech. Last 2 years, no postseason. The year before those 2, he beats North Carolina, wins the ACC tournament, gets beat in the first round by Southern.
Last year, beaten in the first round of the ACC by Virginia. They voted no when the NIT asked them to come to New York for the postseason.
I just thought that was an emotional decision. They were so down as O'Dulla's starting to get involved offensively. Georgetown really getting now some inside as well as perimeter scoring.
Hoyas by 13. They seem to reach a new biggest lead every time down the floor. Drew Berry wants a foul call. Frank Scagliotta didn't give it to him. The Hoyas giving him plenty of heat, and it's a 13-point Georgetown lead.
.7 average. LaFrance, they tell me he's a lot stronger. Pollard, very active. Paul Pearson, diaper dandy. Calvin Rayford Pearson. I mean, Roy Williams has got himself a dandy team. There'll be Rock Chalk, Jake Hawkins down there.
Nothing like that chance to get you ready for hoops in Allen Fieldhouse. Although Dick will be in Kansas City. Maddox bounces it right to Victor Page.
And look at him explode out of the gate.
A little too explosive. Nothing but jackets down the floor. Easy for Harper.
Harper's had a tough about getting some good looks at the basket. Had 39 points in 2 games coming into this game.
Georgetown gets it right back. No call. Oh, my goodness. Way up there.
Bubakar is one of those complimentary players, a guy that runs, jumps, plays on the defensive end.
Maddox for Barry. Maddox. That's a 2. He had his toe on the line.
Yeah, so you got to be aware of that line. If you're that close, you got to back it up. You got to back it up an inch or 2. If you play for Kentucky now, he takes you out of the lineup. He says, sit down next to me, Patino. If you're that close, you got to be aware. You got to be alert.
And those Wildcats will be on ESPN.
Bobby Kremen's one of the best most liked people. I'll tell you something. He's just got a great personality. The kids love him.
There's a foul away from the ball. It looked like Jerome Williams did a little grabbing. That'll be his second.
18 NCAAs, 5 Big East titles, regular season, 6 Big East tournament titles, graduating as players. Get him ready for the Hall of Fame. I mean, if Dean and Bobby and those guys are in, John's ready for it.
Drew Berry is back. He has 9 points, all since halftime, in 5.5 minutes.
What pressure Iverson puts on a defense, the way he runs the ball up the court.
Berry catches it and runs with it, and he thought he saw Victor Page out of the corner of his eye. He just took a straight line up the floor, and Page made the contact for his...
recruited a kid by the name of Machado, Pablo Machado, a kid from out of Venezuela.
Marbury from Berry. He'll flash. He will just hit it a little too long.
But that was a super move. High percentage shot, split the defense.
That was Othello Harrington's 9th rebound of the night. Uncontested underneath, and easy 2 for Owinji.
I'll tell you one thing. Georgetown has that typical offensive rebounding team. Holiday days at Georgetown in the 80s, and also Louisville for years used to live off the offensive rebound.
Bobby Kremens wants a timeout. 13:38 remaining. He's doing everything he can to keep his team in this. Well, Digger coached a lot of years in the Hoosier State. He knows all about those Boilers.
I'll tell you one thing, he never reaches in his pockets and pays for anything. There's a little kickoff down here. I went to dinner with him, I don't know how many times in South Bend over the last month and a half. Not his favorite place, Parisi's, and he never reaches down in his pockets. Oh, wait, I got to get back to the game. I can't talk about that. You can't stray.
3rd foul for Jerome Williams. At the line, Juan Gaston, the freshman, out of Decatur, Georgia. Georgetown has checked Jahidi White back in. Number 55, right bottom corner of your screen. Nice touch there, and Juan has 6.
Georgia Tech is one post player away from really being a top 10 basketball team. And tonight it has really shown, because they haven't been able to do the job on the boards, neutralizing the offensive rebounding power of Georgetown.
Nice high off the glass. That's 17 for Victor Page.
I like Victor Page's. He's got that old-fashioned one hand running with the knee up in the air off the glass.
Marbury fights off Tuomu. Here's Berry. Back to the freshman. Well off with the 3. And rebounded physically by Godwin Owinji.
Oh, cover it! Teddy Valentine says score, and I got the block.
Berry the foul.
I'll tell you, this year in the Big East, you talk about excitement with Kittles and Allen and Iverson and Page. John Wallace, stars galore. There's a little acrobatic. And Teddy Valentine with the call on the block. Valentine does an outstanding job.
You know, Dick, you talked about that rebounding. Georgetown 23-10 at the half. 11 of those 23 were on the offensive end.
Yeah, they out-rebounded Georgia Tech in terms of their more offensive rebounds than they had total rebounds.
Loose ball. Hoyas have it back. Underneath. Jahidi White cannot knock it down. And the rebound cleared off by Juan Gaston. Marbury has to get some urgency now into that Georgia Tech offense.
I'll tell you, Tuomo really does a great job pressuring the basketball defensively for Georgetown.
Maddox, offensive foul, he hooked him.
And they got him with the hook. Have a happy birthday.
A couple of guys that are 80 years young. Wow. Plus or minus a couple. Thank you, sir. That was very nice. Iverson baseline, and it'll go back to the Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech.
You know, they're playing white together now with Othella Harrington. You talk about a lot of beef on the inside.
They try to transition. Matt Harpering could not reach it.
And this club at Georgetown, they're going to get better and better, too, once they get a little bit more experience in the backcourt. Remember, Page has only played 2 games. Iverson's only played 1 season. I mean, this is a young Georgetown backcourt. Then you throw in Tuomo. He's only a freshman.
That was the 18th turnover by Georgia Tech. Georgetown has forced 6 not scored tonight. Harrington has 6 points. He's on his way to a double-digit rebounding night.
We said during our first game that we did, Brad Nessler and I, that they really had to find a way to get Eliasman and Maddox some scoring. Maddox looks like he has stepped up to provide some scoring, but Eliasman's got to make himself a little bit more active offensively. Clubs battling for that top spot. A lot of balance in the conference. Don't have really that heavyweight Mike Tyson knockout team, but really have a lot of clubs, and every night you're going to be like, wow, when you look at the scores.
Little jumper from the left side wouldn't go from Page. And they keep
playing with the Celtics. And that's the way he'll get some PT, some playing time.
You better love to play D if you're going to play for John Thompson. Here's Berry wheeling through there, dumping it off to the wing. Gaston short. Harrington, long one. Iverson.
Hello! Yes, sir. Nice outlet by Harrington. A good Wes Unseld style outlet where he had it over his head, 2 hands. Great catch by Iverson.
You like those DC area guys, don't you?
Oh, they're athletic.
Underneath Marbury, and a nice finish by Matt Harpering.
Marbury creates it for Harpering. Harpering takes it up and scores. Look at Tuomo. I'm really impressed with him. He's going to give them an excellent third guard coming off the bench.
Only a freshman. Lots of good playing time in this NIT. Victor Page with the
Wes Unseld style outlet. 2 hands, and there's the great catch. And the great bounce off the floor. It's like a Spalding ball. A tremendous bounce.
You know, he didn't exactly flush that jam. He got a little iron with it.
Yeah, he got some iron.
Here's Berry. Oh, nice. Marbury, that's his first basket in the second half.
Nice look by Barry. I'll tell you one thing. He catches, he's a blur. He's quicker and quicker. I mean, he's just so quick. You did a blink, he's gone. I mean, he is gone.
Halfway through the second half, it's a 15-point Hoya lead. Berry, nice look, and a good right side finish. That is Juan Gaston, and he's got 8 points in the reserve role tonight.
Yeah, Gaston's a kid that's going to be a positive force coming off the bench. Very productive for Georgia Tech.
Maddox is back up, about to check back in for Bobby Crimmins. Here's Jahidi White back in. Oh, how do you stop 6'9", 270?
I'll tell you the big...
Harpering has it. Jahidi White fouls it.
And you can see the pain all over his face. He reminds me right now with the pain that he's playing, very similar to last year. We had a game with Neil Reed, the outstanding young guard for Indiana, who was playing with a shoulder injury. You could just see it on his face. And today you can see it on Barry's face. I want to say happy Thanksgiving before we get any further to all the beautiful people at our studio and the people across America. Oh, I enjoy that turkey. Have a great, great holiday. Allen goes to the sideline.
Yeah, and then join us Friday for the Tip-Off Classic and the NIT Championship game. Some holiday football coming your way tomorrow night with Baylor and Texas. Got to determine those bowl bids now. It's getting really a tough time of the year where you start to separate people. Here's Page. Berry checking in. He does a 360, but he travels. You know, I think Dan Bonner in the 73-58 Georgetown.
Look at Tuomo. He's really very active defensively. He said, hey, I didn't get a lot of publicity and notoriety in high school, and I'm playing against Mr. Marbury. He said he was a superstar. I'm going to show him that I can play, too.
That's Tuomo.
Beautiful wife, Carol. She can play as well.
See, now, you strike me as a baseliner, but he's one of those serve and volley guys.
You got a good idea. He done so much serving down those. You talk about Woolridge and certainly Kingsbury, who can shoot the basketball. Dr. Tom should have a big, big year this year.
All of his seniors back.
Georgia Tech's getting a solid player next year as well. And a kid by the name of Babel, I mentioned his brother, by the way, is going over to Massachusetts, Mike. And John will be going over to Georgia Tech along with Pablo Machado. They love him from out of Venezuela. A 6'9" kid playing at Tift High School in Georgia.
Pablo Machado. Well, I guess Venezuela doesn't just produce shortstops anymore. 13 points the Hoyas lead. 8:15. Harrington waits, scores, and a foul.
Great high-low play. What a great high-low entry right there by Jerome Williams. Little 4-5 interchange of two big players. We're going to take a look at it right here. We're going to watch them as we see right here. They're going to get some high-low play in this area here. Right in that area. Now we're going to watch them. There's the high-low. Now here comes Jerome Williams, and there's the dump down. And there's the catch by Harrington and the conversion. And the telestrator went bad on me. Give it a turnover.
You've been waiting all night to do some graffiti here in New York.
Give it a turnover.
By the way, he did make the free throw. Here goes Iverson.
Oh,
he's it for Page. Oh, it almost went. There is no pair of players in the country who can guard these guys on the break.
I mean, they're so incredible on the break. But they got to build a new arena. The John Thompson Arena on campus. Pack it every night. Get away from a pro arena. I mean, they got to have our own college complex. If Dean has his, John has earned his. Hey, you can't tell me with all the cash and all their alumni. Put the money together, build a beautiful arena, hold about 12,000, sell it out every night, have it right in the campus area, have those Hoya kids going bananas.
Have you checked real estate prices in Georgetown lately?
Well, I'll donate a few dollars. I'll start it off.
You better start with a few million.
A few million.
Victor Page looking for his 20th point.
Victor Page is going to have many a 20-point night. John started off at Providence College, with someone gave him an opportunity to become a All-American with the Friars. And you know the one thing he's so proud of? Because of someone giving him an opportunity. His one son graduated Princeton, another son graduated Georgetown, and his daughter graduated Brown.
Timeout on the
Friday night at the Martin Luther King banquet, the Black Coaches Association. It'll be a tremendous night. All the coaches will be there. Rick Majerus and Roy Williams. And I'm flattered and honored to receive one of their awards. Not that I deserve it. There are so many guys in our business who do so much for young people.
Well done, sir. And the governor will be here, Bill Raftery. We'll check his tan lines when he gets back from Maui.
I've been on a golf course. He and John Saunders get that every year.
Jerome Williams handling it for the Hoyas. Shot clock at 3. Harrington. And he was stopped straight up by Michael Maddox.
Well, fellas loaded to put on the floor. Davis and Blair certainly can match up on the interior with Harrington and Williams.
Barry out on the wing. For Marbury. Threw it into traffic. Here come the Hoyas. They've got numbers. They had Iverson, but his pass was deflected, and Page will now pull it out for their half-court offense. At least what we know of it, we don't see it very often.
You know, another matchup will be interesting in that game is Reggie Geary defensively against Allen Iverson. I mean, you're talking about a great defensive stopper.
Two of them. Williams. How about the big fellas handling the ball there?
Excellent awareness.
We'll check in with them way out west against Carolina. That's coming up right after we're done here. With Saunders and Raftery out at the Lahaina Civic Center on the island of Maui. 10 points for Jerome Williams tonight.
Just a solid player. I mean, when you got a guy like Williams who's your fourth option, if you classify certainly Iverson, Page, and Harrington as your 1, 2, 3 options, you got a heck of a basketball team, because Jerome Williams is a solid player.
Boubacar Al with the rebound there. Page way out there. They are really hitting the glass. Harrington and a foul.
Georgetown flat out beating their backside on the glass. I mean, they are absolutely owning the glass, just dominating on the interior, showing that strength on the inside. Harrington, I mean, that's a pretty tough number to overcome if you're Georgia Tech. Leesma certainly had a great presence in the first 2 games defensively, blocking shots, but tonight he's really not been a factor at all on the inside.
He had 7 blocks and tied a Tech record against Manhattan. Then he had a double-double against Oklahoma with 12 points and 11 boards, but tonight, virtually nothing.
And he's really one of the favorites down here. All the people love him, chanting, Eddie, Eddie, Eddie. There's no chant of Eddie, Eddie here tonight.
The man out of LaSalle had a rude homecoming tonight. Iverson handling it, getting tripped.
And Iverson's won the matchup head-to-head with Marbury, even though Marbury's made some, really has shown some flashes of brilliance, but in total of the total game, you'd have to give the edge to Iverson.
You got 2 shots.
See, right now, Eric, when you talk about Marbury, they got to forget all the talk about playing at the next level and let him just concentrate on being a collegiate. Let him concentrate on being a student and an athlete and enjoy his moment on the Ramblin' Rec campus, because really there are a lot of parts of his game he still has to work on.
That's 23 for Allen Iverson. And a 23-point lead for the Hoyas as we wind it down to 6 minutes remaining. Barry looking to create a shot. He did.
Looks like that ankle got a little better here in the second half.
11 points since halftime.
He's favored it a little bit, but not like he did in the first half. Got a performance. Got to give the kid an A+ for having the guts and heart to stay on that court.
Iverson and Marbury staring each other down here.
Iverson played in high school with Tony Rutland, who plays. Look at the left hand. And that's George Mikan style. That's John Thompson style. Big John was a left-hander. Othello with the left-handed sweeping hook shot. A shot that doesn't exist in college anymore.
You know, he's got 12 of his 14 in the second half.
Oh, what a pass. Hello. Warm up the boss, Bobby C. Get him to the hotel. This baby's academic.
Hoyas by 25.
The route is on. Get out the turkey.
Saunders the miss, Maddox the follow. He has 18 tonight, but only 4 since halftime.
See, I would take out Barry now. He's still limping. There's no need to play him at this moment.
They do have another guard they use, Brian Brennan, a sophomore out of Archbishop Carroll in Philadelphia.
I'd give somebody else a little experience. Don't want to take a chance of an injury that can really hurt them for the entire year, because they're not a deep basketball team.
Hey, Dickie.
Shot. Usually you use that shot when you play horse. You know, you play horse, you find a guy that can't use it, H-O-R. I mean, he thinks he's Kareem. He thinks he's Mr. Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah, but did Kareem shoot it from out that far?
I'll tell you, Kareem had a magical hook shot. And Kareem was the greatest offensive and defensive. If you talk the total post play, deserves a standing O.
He sits down with 23 points tonight.
He took a pounding in that first game against Colgate.
He adds 6 assists and 5 steals.
He and Victor Page are going to make a lot of beautiful music together.
22 for Victor, so they've got 45 between them.
They're going to have hits galore. They're going to be like Hootie and the Blowfish with all kinds of hits.
Here's Barry. Hartbring trying to get the offensive rebound. It'll go back to the Hoyas.
Hartbring's had a tough night tonight. He certainly hustled and scrapped. There's a look at Allen Iverson on that sideline.
Laurie Michael, the Georgetown trainer, having a look. Boubacar Al. That's for Jerome Williams. Now he'll drive, and he'll commit an offensive foul, his fourth.
Yeah, offensive foul. He stepped in on a baseline, ran into the defensive player. Jerome really out of high school committed verbally to American University, but then went to junior college.
That way, when this one is over, Bob Carpenter and Dick Vitale at Madison Square Garden, and the Hoyas are on cruise control in the final 4 minutes.
The Big East really has struggled here in the NIT preseason. When you look over the years, the last time a team won it was 1988. That was when Syracuse won this tournament.
Marbury couldn't finish when he started. Iverson up with a loose ball.
89, St. John's lost in the finals. 90, Boston College, second round. Pittsburgh in 91, semis. Seton Hall in 92, lost in the finals. 93, St. John's, first round. And 94, Syracuse in the first round. Lost to George Washington last year at home. Played it at Manly.
Page looking for penetration. Runs out of room. And then it was a turnover when he got the ball back before coming down.
Now he's pleading with Teddy Valentine. He's trying to make like a lawyer. He wants to be a politician. He says, hey, I'm in Washington. I'm a politician. I'm learning.
Hey, Othello Harrington was an intern on Capitol Hill this past summer. He ought to talk to him. He worked for Congressman Bliley of Virginia. Did the big fella.
You know, the appeals court overturned the conviction on Allen Iverson, and they gave him a clean slate. Talked about earlier.
There's Williams leaving it. Page. Oh, Williams gets it back, and Harpring ends up on his back. And Jim's in his 7th year with Luke.
A lot of experience on that sideline when Olsen hooks up against Mr. Thompson.
Well, something like 35, maybe close to 40 years combined.
Little coaching know-how.
Marbury high off the glass, and Stephon has only his 2nd field goal of the second half. 13 points on the night for the freshman out of Brooklyn.
Excellent stutter step right there to get him free in an isolation on a one-on-one maneuver.
2.5 minutes to go.
Just didn't have enough inside on that baseline to neutralize Georgetown on the glass.
Iverson running into traffic. Harpring leads a 3-on-1. Page the only man back. Nothing he could do. Nice assist from Marbury.
Referee's timeout.
Iverson shaken up.
Bob Donato all the time. Iverson going to go to the side. Explosiveness of clubs. And coaches get a little scared. They're afraid to go to their bench. They're afraid to substitute.
You know, Dick, now you've got the 22nd timeout that you can save till the end if you're coming from behind. That can help as well. Here's Page.
He said, don't worry a thing, Allen. Don't worry about anything. I'm going to just take over, a little dribble penetration. I'll get into the lane. I'll take the high percentage shot. So you sit down and you rest, Allen. You've been ready for Friday night.
Page and Iverson have combined for 47 points tonight. That was Harpring. 16 for him tonight with that 3. Othello Harrington the miss. He got it back.
He's got some nice numbers rebounding tonight, Othello.
13 of them. 1:10 remaining before Georgetown starts thinking about Arizona. Harpring with the foul. It'll be his 2nd. Icing that left thumb of Allen Iverson.
Look at his left leg. Look at his shake. Look at the left leg. You can see he's in quite a bit of pain right there. Look at the left leg.
He had 23, 6 assists, 5 steals, 8 turnovers tonight.
Jerome Williams comes over, trying to check and see what his teammates feeling.
His buddy at guard, John Thompson's freshman, Victor Page, to the line.
Those are the kind of sights you really don't like to see in college athletics.
Georgia Tech starts moving some people into the game. That's Brian.
Kenny Anderson fame.
Yeah, that rings a bell for folks in Atlanta. That's 25 for Victor Page.
Kenny Anderson was a much better scorer than Stephon Marbury. Marbury on a collegiate level might be a little better in comparing him with Kenny when Kenny was a collegiate freshman.
Thunders to the line. Bucky Hodges checked in for Georgia Tech. A sophomore out of Florida.
Hey, don't get me wrong. Kenny Anderson was phenomenal. I mean, I don't want people to think I didn't think he was phenomenal. He played with a little better cast, though, too. When they went to the Final Four in '90, he was surrounded with guys like Malcolm Mackey, Dennis Scott, also Brian Oliver. All those guys got at least a cup of coffee in the NBA. Dennis Scott now doing a great job with the Magic, who win it without Shaq taking to the rack. Shaquille, Penny Hardaway, wow.
Final 50 seconds. There's 2-0 He'll gun one from downtown.
Then he out-hustles him for the basketball.
Yeah, that was Ryan Murphy after it. And up with the steal was Gary Saunders. By the way, John Saunders and Bill Rapp.
You got to root for them to get a deuce. Get in the scoreboard. Get in there. Get in there. Oh, it's got to go down, Bobby.
Brian Brennan couldn't knock it down. Jackson, right side. Tuomu is underneath. Final 10 seconds.
Oh, look at Jahadi. Look at Jahadi. He says, hey, look at me. I'm from St. Louis. Look at my power. Look at my strength.
Saunders underneath, and it'll be a very decisive 22-point win for Georgetown, Dick. They were up by 8 at the half and win it by 22.
They just dominated in every phase. On the glass, great speed by Allen Iverson. Page is scoring.
He said La Jolla's coming up in 48 hours.
All right, guys, have a good Thanksgiving, and, of course, the concern of I-2 over the Yellow Jackets.